Today, I present the 5 biggest physics mysteries, according to me.
Sabine is presenting 5 questions to the world. Before I start answering, we need a starting point, an axiom. All it takes to answer your questions, Sabine, is to accept that awareness is fundamental and the only thing in existence. We are all aware, aren't we? So it should be easy. Or are physicists created differently from matter? Good luck with that. What we need to study is the functionality of awareness, not the conceived results. So let's dive into Sabine's questions one by one.
Number 5. Einstein's theories don't forbid fast light travel. We just don't know how to cross from speeds below the speed of light to above. Is it possible? And if so, how?
Traveling faster than light requires a capability not yet developed in man. It's not as mystical as it sounds. We need to develop our ability to enter other realities. We can't travel faster than light physically, but instead refocus on another part of the infinite abstract geometrical pattern that is the raw material for the perception in our minds of the universe we observe as physical. Time travel is about traveling mentally and mastering the ability to dissociate and materialize physically somewhere else. That is probably what extraterrestrials are already doing here on our planet right now. And we too do it already, in principle, when we are dreaming or suffer from dissociative identity disorder, DID, and sometimes schizophrenia. There are also people with this ability who demonstrate how they visit and partly materialize in the future in front of a camera on YouTube. It's fascinating to watch. So it is about visualizing and going into the visualization. The same way we go into flow when we do something that occupies our full attention. And the exact mechanism is also involved in our dissociation into the persons we believe ourselves to be. From our dissociated perspective, we say that the soul enters the body, but that is an upside-down religious misconception. We are the universal experiencer, having countless simultaneous dissociations, or extreme DID if you like. And we can swap mentally and consequently physically. We just need to evolve more and learn how, which is about to happen.
Number 4. Time seems to have a direction. We know that that's because entropy increases, but that means the universe must have started out at small entropy. Why?
Entropy started small because the universe started small, with the notion of a single something, the softest imaginable breath. From there, the abstract notion of the pattern we call the zero-point field arose. And it happened in zero time, because time is a subsequent interpretation of aspects of the field. That event is what we perceive as the Big Bang. Instantly, the understanding of the field began. The reading, understanding and experiencing of the book of the universe, if you like. It happened through what I phrase idealistic emergence. Idealistic emergence has a direction, which is because the focus is always fixed on the next emergent thing that needs to be understood, not on the things already interpreted and perceived. We are mentally focused on what's coming next, and that gives time a direction. By the way, the idea of a field as the essence of everything is nothing new. Erwin Laszlo and Rupert Sheldrake, for instance, say the same thing. Max Tegmark goes further and states that the field is entirely abstract and mathematical. In my opinion, he's right. If we, on top of that, add David Chalmers' concepts of the hard problem and qualia, you have it all, almost. The only thing lacking is the entity that is aware of it all. I name it the experiencer, as you have already heard. It is just like you and me, aware and able to experience changes, which is the same as energy and mass. The only mystical, inexplicable element is awareness as such. Awareness is fundamental, not physics.
Number 3. Just what's a measurement? Physicists say if it measures something, we call it a measurement, but that doesn't explain anything.
The most famous measurement is that of the double slit experiment, so let's look briefly at that. It's all about knowledge. I adhere to the Copenhagen interpretation that we materialize or conceive qualia at observation. That is, when our awareness focuses on parts of the quantum field. Our minds, which are inseparable, dissociated parts of the universal mind, have knowledge about the quantum field. The field is everywhere and forms space-time and everything, so of course we all have intrinsic knowledge about it. But knowledge is abstract. We only experience selected parts of the quantum pattern when we focus on it. At that point, we experienced the highest emergent ID as something physical. When we focus on the abstract waves, we experience materialized wavetops, to use an analogy. The time frame doesn't allow me to go deeper into it, but the measurement is a mental focus.
Number 2. Koida's formula is the relation between the masses of 3 elementary particles, the electron, the muon and the tau, that comes out 2/3 to an accuracy of 5 digits after the point. Coincidence? I don't think so.
I'm not a particle physicist, I'm a claircognizant. So that's your mystery to solve. But it seems clear to me that the IDs of the mentioned particles must have arisen simultaneously in the universal mind. Some ID suddenly became invalid for some reason, and a reinterpretation was required. That is emergence in practice. The reinterpretation required branching out of 3 new IDs, where the normal would be 2. All 3 newly conceived IDs, or particles, had a mass equal to 1/3 of the original because there was no information available to assign anything other than identical mass to each of them. And doesn't that happen all the time? That highly energetic radiation splits things into parts or knocks something out of position? A realistic emergence would explain it, I'm sure, but you tell me why.
Number 1. Just why do things have units? Time, length, energy, mass, what are they? Are units the difference between maths and reality? Does that make any sense? If you find out, let me know.
The units are the first interpretations of parts of the abstract quantum pattern that are remembered every time identical or adequately similar parts of the pattern are observed. In my book, I explain in detail how the most fundamental units arose the exact instant the abstract zero-point field emerged into being, out of necessity, as a consequence of the first something. We can't have different ideas about the same thing, so when the Planck length was first conceived, it was everywhere, forever. The same goes for time, energy, the electromagnetic field, photons, and so on. And next, things started clumping together through the abstract laws of complexity dynamics. These are primarily about attractors, which again explain gravity and inertia. I know what I'm presenting sounds woo-woo to most people, physicists in particular, but it's not magic. My book explains it all. It's available for free as text and audio at tomottmar.com. I would also recommend a few popularized videos I've produced also on the website. Links are in the comments and description below. And let me add one thing. In a universe where awareness is fundamental, causation is reversed compared to what we believe today. That's the key to answering your questions. This is the path to understanding life, the universe, and everything, in my opinion. So long, Sabine. I hope you got some new ideas.